Hey, my name is Maria, and something strange happened to me. A billionaire offered me $2 million to marry his son. He told me he wanted a grandchild and that I would make a great mother. But as I later found out, that was a lie. His real intention was to exploit me and enrich himself off of me, and I was barely 18 years old when all this happened. It's a crazy story, but before I tell it to you, please subscribe to our channel. When I was little, my parents lived in a house on a hill. That's why we always drove down a steep slope to get me to school. But one day, the brakes failed and our car accelerated all the way down the slope until we crashed into a wall. I was the only survivor, and the police investigation revealed that someone had cut the brake lines of our car, although they never caught the culprit of the crime. As an inheritance, my parents only left me a few acres of worthless land in the countryside, which I couldn't even sell until I turned 18. So I grew up dirt poor in a foster family here in Mexico. Life was rough until I got approached one day by a well-dressed man. "Are you Maria?" "Yes." "I'm Rafael. I was close friends with your parents, and to honor my friendship with them, I wanted to make sure you were well taken care of. It's tragic how they passed away, but I'm here to offer you a job in my company as a personal assistant." "Oh, thank you, but I'm still in high school and not looking for a job." Raphael didn't care and offered me a starting salary of 60,000 US dollars, which was a crazy high amount for a poor Mexican girl like me. I couldn't say no to such a generous offer, but I still hesitated because there was something creepy about this guy. He kept telling me, "I know what is best for you," while pushing me around with his hand on my naked shoulder. I was only 17, and he made me feel extremely uncomfortable, but against my gut feeling, I accepted the offer. Raphael's company was in the mineral extraction business, and when I came into his office to shake his hand, I accidentally knocked over a glass of water on his lap. "I'm sorry." "Never mind, darling. Mistakes happen. The question is, will you correct them?" Wait, did he want me to personally dry his crotch? He grinned at me, but before I could respond, someone else came into the room. "Oh, there he is! Maria, this is my son, Diego. You'll be his new personal assistant. I hope you get along well." Diego was the same age as me, but a creep. On my first day of work, he told me, "Maria, it'll be fun having you work below me, or above me, depending what position you prefer, if you know what I mean." I think he was trying to be funny, but all it did was gross me out. 1 week later, he made me massage his shoulders and said, "A massage without happy ending is like torture. Anyway, I know a good restaurant downtown. We can go there on a romantic date and get to know each other a bit more intimately." Listen, I'm not interested in you because I'm not attracted to creeps. Diego's response surprised me. He suddenly apologized and begged me to give him another chance. It was strange. After all, his family was rich, and he could have easily dated a prettier girl than me. So why was he so desperate to date me? I turned him down again, but this time he got mad and said, "You poor girl, think I'm not good enough for you? Do you know who I am? I've got connections. I can pay the cartels to let you hang down a bridge." He was referring to the Mexican cartels that sometimes hang their enemies from bridges. This time, he had taken it too far, though. No salary was worth being threatened, so I told his dad Rafael about his behavior. "Thank you for letting me know. Don't worry, Diego won't bother you again, I promise." An hour later, I heard shouting coming out of Rafael's office. Then Diego stepped out with blood running down his mouth and a swollen black eye. Someone had beaten him up. "Oh my God, are you all right?" "Yeah, I'm okay. Listen, I want to apologize for threatening you. I just really like you, and I'm not good at showing it." Before I could say a word, he rushed away. Then his dad came out. "What happened to Diego?" "He had an accident, but it's none of your business. Why don't you come into my office for a minute? We need to talk." I could see the bruises on Raphael's knuckles, and I was afraid that he might hurt me too, but I went in anyway. "My son Diego is a spoiled prick and loser. He lacks the intelligence to take over my business one day, and that's why I need you. I want you to marry my son and give me a grandchild. You can divorce him again afterward if you like. All I want is a legitimate heir, and I am willing to pay you 2 million US dollars for it." "Are you serious?" "Yes, but you have to hurry. I expect you to marry him within 3 months, or else I'll fire you from your job and find another woman to marry my son. Also, Diego must never know about our deal." It suddenly all made sense. Raphael had given me this job so I would fall in love with his son, but I kept rejecting Diego, which is why Rafael was now offering me money to marry him. Of course, I still despised Diego. He was a creepy weirdo. But I grew up poor and I didn't want to go back to living in a shack and eating beans all day. The $2 million offer was my ticket to financial freedom, and so I accepted it. I just never suspected that Rafael was actually having a hidden and much more sinister plan as to why he wanted me to marry his son. So the next day, I tried to seduce Diego rather directly. Hey, I need your help. My little kitty climbed up a shelf and can't get down again. Can you come home with me and help her? Oh, sure. We got to my home and I said, actually, I don't have a cat. And then I kissed him. Wait, I thought you don't like me. What? No, I was just playing hard to get. I actually love it when you make naughty jokes. Diego fell for it and proposed to me a month later. I said yes, but I was already thinking about divorcing him again as soon as he got me pregnant and I got my $2 million check. But the night before our wedding, Diego drank more than he should have and said, I completed my task, but he can keep his filthy money. What are you talking about? My father. He promised me $2 million if I marry you. But I don't want his money. I've got you and that's all that matters. I didn't tell Diego that his dad had made me the same offer. Instead, I asked, why would he pay you that much money? I don't know. He was probably just lying anyway. He wants everyone to think he is wealthy when he's actually broke. He has a gambling addiction and is in debt. He told me if I managed to marry you before your 18th birthday, all our financial problems would be solved. You were worth a fortune, he said. I? Worth a fortune? How come? No idea. But the answer is in a red folder at my dad's office safe. He waved it in his hand when he talked about it with me. I tried to grab it, but he said, no, first you marry Maria, and then I'll let you in on the plan. Then he put the folder into his safe. Do you know the combination to open it? Yeah, I think so. So in the middle of the night, we entered his dad's office to try and open the safe. But Diego couldn't figure out the right code. You said you knew the combination. I'm sorry. Maybe I drank too much. What a moron! But then I had an idea. It seemed as if I was the protagonist of this whole story. So I went ahead and typed in my own birth date. Click. The safe opened, and I fished out the red folder. To my surprise, it contained a plot map of the land I had inherited from my parents after they died. Then I turned the page and found a geological report that said that there were palladium reserves worth 200 million US dollars on my land. Suddenly, it all made sense, but then I heard his voice. Look who's here. Raphael entered the office with a bodyguard by his side. As soon as you entered the wrong pin into the safe, it sent an alert to my phone. I knew right away that my idiot son betrayed me. You disappoint me again. Raphael looked at Diego with utter contempt. Maria, I see you found the folder. Why don't we make a deal? Nah, I think I'll pass. Oh, you are just as arrogant as your father. He betrayed me when he bought that land and didn't share it with me. That's why I had to murder him after all. Yeah, it all makes sense now. You murdered my parents because no one else knew how valuable the land was, and you wanted to buy the land for cheap after we all died. Correct. But unfortunately, you survived the accident and inherited the land. I thought about murdering you in your children's home, but it was too risky. So instead, I chose to let you marry my son, because if we discovered how valuable your land was after you married him, then half of the land's appreciation would go to my family. So what now? You either marry my son, or I have to get rid of you once and for all. Afraid, I grabbed Diego's arm, saying, whatever happens, I really loved you. Of course I was lying, but Diego ate it up and threw himself on his dad to disarm him. The bodyguard got into the brawl too, and I had time to escape. I took the red folder with me, and when I turned 18, I approached a big international mineral extraction company and showed them the geological report. Palladium has multiplied in value over recent years, so the land that was worth $200 million 20 years ago, I was able to sell for more than $1 billion. After all, life was good to me.